Bergman, the CarQuest Fall Final is under green down in turn 1.
And Mike Stefanik will get the jump in as he will lead them down into turn number 1. Off turn number 2, it's Mike Stefanik, but here's a battle for second.
Battle for second is side by side with Hossfeld to the outside lane, taking the position away from Nevin George, who falls into third. And then it's Todd Zegedy to round out the front 4 single file.
Hossfeld has got big steam beneath the hood of that race car. The Colton RV number 4 looks very strong in second already. Zegedy moves up to the 4th spot behind Nevin George down into turn 3.
Zegedy trying to look to the inside of Nevin George on the back straightaway. Can't do it. One car having a problem on the back straightaway. It's L.W. Miller. A little bit of smoke from the left rear of that car off turn 4.
L.W. Miller's car comes to drop off the pace just a bit. It appears that there is heavy smoke coming from the back end of car number 73. Back to the front of the field, it is still Mike Stefanik in command. Hossfeld runs in second. George is in third. Then it's Zegedy in the 4th spot with the Ferrari number 31 running in position number 5.
Further on back, Chris Kopech with car number 16. He's trying to work his way to the front as they're nose to tail off turn number 2.
John Blewett the third, just ahead of Chris Kopech, just inside of the top 10, single file here in turn number 3. Then it's Dave Bergman next in line, right behind Chris Kopech.
When they come off turn number 4, Stefanik still leads him, and Hossfeld still currently sets in a runner-up spot. There's a good battle going on a little further back in the field as they run in single file formation. We've got Ferrante, who is just pressured by Teddy Christopher, with Jerry Marquis waiting in the wings down at turn 3.
Ferrante right now running in the 5th spot with Ted Christopher in 6th, followed by Marquis, all being patient here early in the race.
Off turn number 4, currently in the 8th position, our current point leader, Eddie Flemke Jr. But back up front, it's still Mike Stefanik, Chuck Hossfeld, Nevin George as they work in turn 3.
Single file down here in turn number 3. Stefanik has 1 car length over Chuck Hossfeld. Nevin George runs next in line, a car length behind Chuck in 3rd.
Let's check in on pit road with Tony Sutton.
Well, Miller's in. There's some sort of a fluid leak. It's gotten all over the windshield and in the driver's compartment. They are wiping that down. But they are trying to identify the source of the leak, and the crew is now discussing as they look under the hood. Right now, Miller sits here with the engine off.
As they come off turn number 4 and come back to the line with 5 laps up on the big board, it's still Mike Stefanik leading. Chuck Hossfeld currently still sets in 2nd. Nevin George is still 3rd. Todd Zegedy in the 4th spot, and 5th is Tony Ferrante. Ted Christopher sets in 6th. Jerry Marquis is 7th. Eddie Flemke is 8th. John Blewett is 9th. And Bo Gunning rounds out the top 10. Just out of the top 10, it is Chris Kopech. Behind him is David Bergman. Chris Jones is next. Charlie Pastriak and Tony Hirschman. We're under green flag conditions. 7 of the 150 laps now into the record books. It is Mike Stefanik in command.
Right now, Dave Bergman there in that 9th position is trying to work over the number 16 of Chris Kopech as they work off turn number 4. Further on back, drivers trying to work their way up to the front. Doug Colby with car number 28. This is his debut on the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series. And right now, he works his machine off turn number 2 and down the back straightaway.
Doug Colby stuck in the outside lane a moment ago, lost a spot to Jamie Tomeno and also Joey Caraccia, but did manage to get back in the line ahead of Baldwin.
Well, Baldwin manages to hold on to that spot. Paul Verreri tucks back in the line right behind him. Then it's Ricky Fuller to follow in hot pursuit here. Challenge is on for the 3rd spot. Nevin George has reeled in on the back bumper of Todd Zegedy, but Zegedy still holds on to position number 3.
Right now in front, it's the silver bullet car number 21 for 5-time National Modified Champion Mike Stefanik. Chuck Hossfeld, the winner at New Hampshire International Speedway. He runs in the 2nd position. They're in 3rd, the winner from Richmond International Raceway, Todd Zegedy, and then they're in 4th, Nevin George, and it's Tony Ferrante as they work in 1.
Down into turn number 1, battle is still on right there as Christopher continues to pull out a line, but not enough steam, Kyle, to take over that spot.
Yeah, he took a look to the inside of Tony Ferrante on the back straightaway, decided better of it, pulled back in the line, running into 6th position.
Right now, Eddie Flemke Jr. stepped out of line. He tried to find some racing room around the Jerry Marquis. His caution is on the speedway. Trouble up in turn number 4.
L.W. Miller and one other car to the outside guardrail. That is the Frank Rocco entry, car number 14, the Bear Motorsports car. He'll pull away, as will L.W. Miller. So cleanup going to be a quick one here in turn 4.
Well, Frank Rocco just competed in the SK Modified division where he had a very good run going for himself. He'll pick up at the rear of the field with car number 14. L.W. Miller's car was in and out of the pit area. That was the car that was smoking heavily earlier. Let's go down to Tony Sutton.
Well, I talked to the crew chief after they came back over the wall and Miller pulled away. It was a power steering leak, and they secured the leak, wiped off all of the fluid on the car, and managed to clean up the cockpit of the car enough so it wasn't all over the driver. The windshield was also very smudged up on that, but Miller got that back that cleaned up and got back out on the racetrack. Do not know if that had any impact on the incident up in turn 4.
Well, let's set the stage here with 14 laps on the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series scoreboard. The leader is Mike Stefanik with car number 21. Second is Chuck Hossfeld with the number 4. Third is Todd Szegedy. Fourth spot, the 0 of Nevin George. Fifth position, the 31 of Tony Ferrante. Sixth position, Ted Christopher, car number 13. In the 7th spot, the number 3 of Jerry Marquis. 8th spot, the 79 of Eddie Flemke. 9th spot, John Blewett, the 77. 10th spot, Bo Gunning, car number 09. In the 11th spot, the 16 of Chris Kopech. 12th spot, the number 32 of David Bergman. 13th spot, Chris Jones, the number 39 car. 14th spot, the 5 of Charlie Pastriak. And rounding out the top 15 is the 48 of Tony Hirschman. In the 16th spot, it is Joey Caraccio, the 34. In the 17th spot is Jamie Tomeno. 18th spot is Tom Baldwin. 19th spot is Doug Colby. And in the 20th spot is the 71 of Bob Pulvereri. 21st position is the number 8 car of Ricky Fuller, followed by the 25 of Dupuis, the 04 of Vortemeyer, 36 of Eric Beers, and the Budweiser number 10 of Robbie Summers. Carl Pastriak runs next. Donnie Leah over David Etheridge with car number 54. That's currently how they stand. 15 laps of the 150 now into the record books.
Looks like 2 cars step out of line. It looks like they will head for pit road. One of those machines being L.W. Miller. And the other machine also coming down pit road, the white and orange machine. That is
the number 12 car coming down a pit road. Of that is Tommy the Kid Corvino, the 73 car, the 14. And then we go to Jimmy Broderick's car. The Dodge-powered race car is at the end of pit road. Got a new nickname this weekend, Gary. They call him Butterball. Not quite sure what that means, but I'm sure there's a message in there, and it is said in the plural sense. I'll tell you that right now. So 16 laps of the 150 now complete. The field is paired off in rows of 2. They'll head off turn number 2, and we'll be anticipating things to go back to green. Kyle, your thoughts from turn 3?
Well, so far at this stage of the race, Chuck Hossfeld has looked pretty good in the outside lane. That's where he'll restart here in about a lap and a half from now. Also, watch out for Ted Christopher to come up through the field. He was amongst the lead pack, part of the lead pack of cars just prior to the caution flag. Watch for the number 13 here on the restart.
And Ben, we'd also like to mention that, of course, Tommy Corvino and Bo Gunning, they are teammates, and their cars do look alike. Of course, Tommy Corvino in the 17, Bo Gunning in car number 09.
We should point out that also the big rumor from out of the paddock area is that for 2003, Mikey Winitsko is going to be returning and be a part of the Partridge team, which will also be kind of joined together with the Universal Welding Group, the combination that previously that Mikey Winitsko had driven for. You remember at the start of this season, Mikey Winitsko had some health problems and was unable to compete. So we'll look forward to Winitsko returning. He is an outstanding competitor from the Long Island circuit.
Well, the clenched screen has been given to the field. Right up front, it is Mike Stefanik right alongside car number 4 for Chuck Hossfeld. And then it is Todd Szegedy and Nevin George, your top 4 machines with 17 laps showing on the Stafford Motor Speedway scoreboard. This is the 17th stop for the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series. After today's event, they will move on to the Martinsville Speedway on October the 19th. Right now, as they work slowly down the back straightaway, let's head back out to turn number 3, where Kyle Rickey is covering all the action.
I mentioned Chuck Hossfeld and Ted Christopher a moment ago being factors. Don't count out the kids there in row 2. Todd Szegedy will restart to the inside of the second row. To his outside will be the 0 of Nevin George. But it's Mike Stefanik set to pace the field off of turn number 4 for the restart.
They are paired off looking for the green. Hossfeld on the outside. Big power beneath the hood. Ron Hunter engine. Stefanik on the inside. And look at Hossfeld, Gary. He just motored on by, almost as if Stefanik was stopped on the racetrack.
There's your new leader off turn number 2. It is Chuck Hossfeld, and he's starting to pull away from Mike Stefanik. Here comes Todd Szegedy now.
Trouble up at turn number 3. Nevin George, Todd Szegedy get together. Nevin George goes to the outside guardrail. Several other cars becoming involved, including Jerry Marquis, Tony Ferrante, and John Blewett III.
Car number 5, Charlie Pastriak, seems to be the car that has suffered the worst of the wear. The left front wheel is literally peeled back on the Dolly's Automotive, number 5, the Mustang GT body race car. So Charlie Pastriak's going to be heading down to pit road. And Nevin George, who was right in the thick of all of that, seemed to be able to get away. Not unscathed, because he is now running at the rear of the field. The safety crew is going to check out the racing surface. But we are on lap number 19 in a holding pattern here in this main event for the Featherlight Modified Series. And wow, on the last restart, Chuck Hossfeld just had so much power. He went right by Mike Stefanik, and he did it down the front straightaway.
Let's head back out to turn number 3 and Kyle Rickey.
The incident started while Todd Zegedy and Nevin George were racing for the 3rd and 4th positions. They came together at the entrance of turn number 3, and Nevin George went straight to the outside guardrail. Everybody checked up behind him, and that's where Charlie Pastriak suffered his damage as he came together with Jerry Marquis and John Blewett III. Pastriak now behind the wall.
Derek Beebe, report to the main office, please. Derek Beebe, report to the main office, please. Jerry Marquis was among the cars that was involved in that jingle. So wasn't the 77 machine of Blewett. Both of those cars are looking to head down in pit road. They have just opened up pit road, and the 3 of Marquis is going down pit road with the 77 of Blewett. Let's check in with Tony Sutton, who is down there. The 31 car of Ferrante is also being worked on down in pit road as well. Car number 12 is back down on pit road. That is Tommy the Kid Corvino's race car. And apparently that is a quick pit stop. Let's go to Tony.
Well, Corvino's in for an air adjustment on the right rear tire. They were not happy with the way it was handling, so they adjusted it, and Corvino will head back out, stalls the car, refires it, and the number 12, driven by Corvino, heads back out on the racetrack to join the fray.
Ferrante looks like he possibly is going to be heading back down on pit road again with car number 31. This is kind of a heartbreaking situation for him. He time trialed so well here yesterday afternoon as the last car to take time, and you can see the damage to the front end. The right and left wheels are going in the opposite direction here. They're literally going east and west, so work will have to be done on the number 31 car, and they're pulling that car behind pit road directly in front of Tony Sutton. Tony?
Yeah, he has a bent tie rod. In fact, the end of the tie rod is just broken as he pulled into the racetrack. They are going to fix it. They've got the pieces, but unfortunately, they got to get it up in the air in order to get those pieces replaced. Ferrante stops right in the entranceway to going behind the wall, has to pull a little bit further back, but the crew has the pieces they need, and they're going to work on the number 31.
Well, lap number 21 just clicked off on the scoreboard here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. So let this set the field for you again. There has been 2 leaders so far in 22 circuits. The leader currently on the racetrack is car number 4, the Colton RV. Bob Garbarino, Mystic River Marina Missile. Car number 4 for Chuck Hossfeld. Currently running in second, the Lombardi number 21, the Art Berry Silver Bullet Machine for Mike Stefanik. Third position held down by the Haynes Construction number 50. For Todd Zegedy. In the 4th spot, Jimmy Galante's Mystique Motorsports number 13 for Teddy Christopher. 5th spot, Eddie Flemke, the Hills Brothers Racing number 79. 6th spot, Bo Gunning, car number 09. 7th spot, Chris Kopech, the number 16. 8th spot, Chris Jones. 9th spot, Tony Hirschman. And 10th spot, Jamie DeMano. We go to Tony Sutton.
Well, the cross piece that supports the upper mounting bracket for the shock absorber was broken in that incident, also the lower tie rod. Unfortunately, they have to weld this piece back on, so the hands welding is now welding up the top bracket that supports the shock absorbers. Once that goes, there's basically no suspension because the spring is supported by the same thing.
Jerry Marquis' car is also down on pit road here. They've doubled the field back up, so it's got to be a quick stop for Marquis if he's going to get back out and be a contender in this point rundown for the closing as events. Jimmy Broderick with the Dodge is coming back out, car number 94. That car has been in and out of pit road. It appears that he's got some type of mechanical problems as well.
Working our second caution of the evening for a problem. Charlie Pastriak and Nevin George. 23 laps show on the Stafford Motor Speedway scoreboard. Your leader is Chuck Hossfeld. Caution now is staying out on the Speedway.
So the yellow flag comes back out, lap number 23, as they headed to turn number 3, and Kyle Rickey.
Cleanup complete at this end of the speedway, but as Gary mentioned a moment ago, caution lights have just been turned back on from the starter stand, and we'll hold 1 additional caution lap with Chuck Hossfeld at the point, Stefanik to the outside lane. That'll be the front row for the restart here in about a lap.
Once again, looking at the point standings coming into this event. Eddie Flemke Jr., the point leader, Jerry Marquis, Mike Stefanik, Chuck Hossfeld, and Rick Fuller round out your top 5. Let's check back in on pit road.
Well, Marquis is down off the jacks, but his front end is way out of alignment. They're gonna try and get him back in. They worked on that real quickly. That should have taken a little bit longer, but because of the situation with going back to green, they sent Marquis back out on the racetrack. But it's going to be an ill-handling car for the next few laps for sure.
Also, we like to make note of the fact that Ted Christopher's car, the left rear quarter of the car, is showing some damage there. So obviously that car was involved in one of the jingles here, and this is going to cost Jerry Marquis some very valuable points as car number 3 is heading back down on pit road. As it appears the field is about ready to go back to green. The lights are off on the safety vehicle at the point, so that crew there has got to get a lot of work done really quick if they're going to get Marquis back out, so he does not go down a lap here.
Well, they sent him right back out. He never even stopped. They just got on the radio and said, they're going green, get back on the racetrack. Just deal with it until we get another yellow.
So right now, 24 laps show on the board as we're about to go back to green flag racing. It will be Chuck Hossfeld and Mike Stefanik that will lead them down as the green flag is back up in the air as they will set sail for turn number 1. Hossfeld down low. Here comes Stefanik to the outside. That's a good battle for the number 1 spot.
Give the advantage to Chuck Hossfeld here on the back straightaway. Stefanik to pull in the line in the second spot, side by side for third. Todd Segedy down to the inside. Ted Christopher up high.
Bo Gunning has moved into the top 5. He might be the surprise in this one. Gunning is up to position number 5. Right there behind him comes Eddie Flemke with car number 79.
Gunning just into the top 5. Eddie Flemke in the 6th spot, side by side for 7th. Chris Jones to the outside lane. Chris Kopech down low off the corner.
Off turn number 4, back down to the stripe. Ted Christopher just got around the Mike Stefanik machine. So put Ted Christopher there in 2nd, Mike Stefanik in 3rd, Todd Segedy in 4th, and it's Bo Gunning, Eddie Flemke Jr., Chris Kopech, and right now Chuck Hossfeld. He leads the field, and I'll tell you, Ben, it looks like he's got a very, very strong race car.
It sure does, but so doesn't Teddy Christopher. Now remember, Christopher's got a mission. He made a promise to someone at this race facility that he was going to win all of the Featherlight Modified Series events of 2002. This is the only one left, so will he be able to pull it off? Stay tuned, there's more to follow.
Further on back in the field, drivers trying to work their way up to the front. Jamie the Jet Tomato, also, he's in a battle right now with Doug Colby. But still up front, it is Chuck Hossfeld, but Teddy Christopher starting to close in 3.
He's reeled him in now down to within 1 car length. Stefanik still on the back bumper of Christopher in 3rd and Segedy in 4th.
Segedy doing a nice job right there with Mike Stefanik. He's following in the tire tracks, and that's a good battle going on. Christopher has just tested the waters a bit with Hossfeld. It didn't work. Temperature wasn't quite right yet. Hossfeld still leads him, brings him back to the line. We're on lap 31 and counting here at Stafford.
So right now, Chuck Hossfeld driving the Bob Garbarino. Mystic Missile number 4 is in command. Teddy Christopher in the Mystique Motorsports 13 runs 2nd. They're in 3rd. The Silver Bullet, the Mike Stefanik machine owned by Art Berry, and then there in the 4th position it is Todd Segedy, that car owned by Don Parker. And further on back it is Bo Gunning and Eddie Flemke Jr. Then it's Chris Kopech, our leaders in 3.
Hossfeld slipped up a bit off of turn number 2. Christopher looked to the inside, but Hossfeld slammed the door before Christopher could get there. Christopher settles into 2nd.
When they come back to the line, they've completed the 33rd circuit here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Car number 4 currently sets the pace at the point. That is Chuck Hossfeld. Teddy Christopher runs in 2nd. Mike Stefanik is 3rd. Todd Segedy is 4th. Bo Gunning is 5th. And Eddie Flemke sets in the 6th spot. Chris Kopech is 7th. 8th spot is Chris Jones. Good run for him. In the 9th spot, it is Tony Hirschman, and 10th is Jamie Domeno. Just out of the top 10, it's David Bergman with car number 32. Down the back straightaway, Christopher again will test the waters down at turn 3.
This time looked to the outside lane, couldn't get around. Hossfeld fell back in the line in 2nd, with Stefanik looking on in 3rd.
Off turn number 4, here comes Eddie Flemke Jr. now trying to work down to the inside of the Bo Gunning machine. That is for the 5th position. Give the 5th position now to Ed Flemke Jr. Chris Kopech is going to try to make that same move in turn number 3.
Gunning continues to run the outside lane, now tugs back into the inside lane, just ahead of Chris Kopech, who will settle for the 7th spot.
David Bergman also will go to the outside. He'll go around the 99 of Tomato. That'll put Bergman among the top 10 cars. Hirschman down low. Here comes Bergman in the outside lane. Will he be able to pull it off down at turn 3?
Had to get back in the line behind Tony Hirschman, just outside of the top 10. Tries it again, though, in the outside lane. It's Hirschman down low, Bergman up high.
David Bergman's got a race car that is really hooked up in the outside lane. That's the toughest way around this half mile. He'll go to the outside, pick up the spot, sets his sights on Chris Jones as he becomes the next target in Bergman's quest to get to the front of the field.
So right now, the three-time National Modified Champion, Tony Hirschman, driving car number 48, trying to get around the number 32 machine of Dave Bergman. But right now, Hirschman's going to have to contend with Jamie Tomeno, who's right on the back bumper.
Change for second down turn number 3. It's going to be Mike Stefanik getting around Ted Christopher on the outside to take over second.
Mike Stefanik puts the silver bullet into second. Car number 21, the Lombardi-sponsored race car, is moving in on Hossfeld. Hossfeld gets a mirror full of silver. It's not the reflection of anyone else other than Mike Stefanik as he works his way to contend with Hossfeld off turn 4.
Mike Stefanik currently third in the point standings coming into today's event. Now we'll sweep up to the outside of the Chuck Hossfeld machine. Brand new machine for Mike Stefanik. He'll work to the outside in turn 3.
And all of a sudden, it's really hooked up as they make contact down in turn number 3 between Hossfeld and Stefanik. Stefanik falls back in the line behind Hossfeld.
Off the 4 turn, back down into turn number 1. Stefanik goes to the outside again. Will he be able to pull it off? Off turn 2. Stefanik will challenge to take over the lead.
Hossfeld continues to hold them off, though, down the back straightaway. And once again, slight contact between the lead duo in turn number 4. Stefanik all the way up alongside off the corner.
Troyer race car versus Bafco race cars. They run
Trouble back straightaway. One car out of shape, slaps the outside wall. It's the 94 Broderick. He's okay and gathers it back in.
In the meantime, off turn number 2, the battle continues down to turn number 3.
Side by side, third time by. Hossfeld down low, Stefanik up high. Christopher looks on 2 car lengths back in third.
As they come off the turn, back down to the line, it's still Hossfeld by inches as they cross the stripe. Stefanik not giving up in the outside lane off turn number 2. Here comes Stefanik. He'll take over the lead.
Stefanik's got a lot of momentum built in the outside lane. Takes over the top spot, but only by a half a car length. Hossfeld using the inside to his advantage off turn 4.
And it continues Nerf bar to Nerf bar right at the stripe. Hossfeld down to the inside. Stefanik to the outside. Looking on. It's Ted Christopher there in third. And then it is Todd Zegedy and Eddie Flemke Jr. Once again, the battle for the lead in turn 3.
Little contact halfway down the back straightaway. Got Hossfeld out of shape. He'll take over the second spot as the caution comes out.
Caution flag comes out on the field. Jimmy Broderick again is the result of that caution. He came across the racetrack. He was running at the back of the field and will bring out the caution just in front of the leaders when things really got heated up. 44 laps into this 150 lap event, and Mike Stefanik has done an awesome job of running the outside of Chuck Hossfeld to take back the number 1 spot. Teddy Christopher took advantage of the contact between Hossfeld and Stefanik to move back into second. Hossfeld is now third. Todd Zegedy is fourth. Fifth is Eddie Flemke. Sixth is Bo Gunning. Seventh, unofficially, is Chris Kopak. Eighth spot, the 32 of David Bergman. Ninth spot is Tony Hirschman. And 10th spot is Chris Jones. Just out of the top 10 is Jamie Tomeno, Joey Caraccia, Ricky Fuller, Tom Baldwin, Vordemeyer, Nevin George, and Doug Colby. Looks like we're going to have some pit action coming up in just a moment. Lap number 46 under yellow here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
So 46 laps show on the board, and your leader is Mike Stefanik with car number 21. Brand new race car for the 5-time National Modified Champion. As we told you, he already picked up a win earlier. We're actually back on September the 14th over at the Thompson International Speedway. Let's check in on pit road with Tony Sutton.
Jamie Summers on his way in. The pit board is over the wall. In addition to tires, there's a group of wrenches laid out on the top of the wall. It appears there is a power steering problem with the 10 car also, and they are going to try and address that as he comes in for this pit stop. The board for the number 3, Jerry Marquis, also over the wall. Several drivers will be coming in for adjustments in tires during this pit stop.
Well, now 47 laps click up on the board. If you're listening on YahooBroadcast.com, it's 25 after 6 Eastern Standard Time. The NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series on the Speedway. Your leader, it is Mike Stefanik. Right alongside it is Teddy Christopher. Then it is Chuck Hossfeld and Todd Zegedy. This is our third caution of this event.
Well, the inside group of cars are going to be heading down on pit road, Gary, as they come off and down on pit road. Jerry Marquis will lead. Broderick, David Bergman is the third car in. Fourth car in is Hirschman. Fifth car in, Vordemeyer.
And John Blewett with car number 77. Doug Colby with car number 28. Robbie Summers with car number 10. The 71 machine of Bob Polvereri. The 12 of Cravino. And the 14 of Frank Rocco, all on pit road.
So on lap number 48, under caution here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. A lot of work continuing down on pit road. Let's set the field for you back to the front of the field. Leader, there's been only two. Car number 21 currently sets up front. That brand new race car owned by Art Berry and the Lombardi Limited Liability Company, as Stefanik is in position number 1. Teddy Christopher sets in the second spot. Third is Chuck Hossfeld. Fourth spot is Todd Szegedy. Fifth spot, Eddie Flemke. Sixth spot, Bo Gunning. Seventh spot, Chris Kopech. Eighth is Chris Jones. Ninth is Jamie Tomeno. And 10th now is Joey Caraccia. In the 11th spot, Ricky Fuller. 12th spot, Tom Baldwin. 13th spot, the 0 of Nevin George. 14th spot, Eric Beers, the 36. 15th spot, Donnie Leah, the number 18. That's your top 15 with the lap 48 heading back to the line for the 49th circuit.
Let's check back in on pit road with Tony Sutton.
Well, the front end straightened out on the number 3 car. They reset the toe. The 77 blew it. They had a big stagger problem. They measured the tires twice to make sure the tires were growing at the correct rate, and they made the possible adjustments there. Other drivers in, 4 adjustments. No tires to speak of for wear, but some of the drivers complain the tires not hooking up the way they want them to, and it gets back to that question early on about the types of rubber on the racetrack between the two divisions.
Well, you know, Ed Flemke Jr., the driver of car number 79, he is the current point leader coming into this event here this afternoon. And you look at his stats for the 2002 season so far: 3 wins, 7 top 5s, and 9 top 10s so far. Very impressive season for the Southington, Connecticut driver, Eddie Flemke Jr.
Well, they head into turn number 3. We're looking for the restart once again. Ted Christopher on the outside of Mike Stefanik. Up through the gears. They're pretty evenly matched as they come off the turn. It's Christopher's got a nice run for it, but we've got a yellow, not a green.
Ben, we got a car died that here on the back straightaway. It was Tony Hirschman in car number 48. Car did refire once the caution came out, and he'll catch up to the back of the pack.
So Hirschman picks up at the rear of the field. What was heating up to be a barn burner on that last restart got cooled down. Field still under yellow. Lap number 50 just clicked off. Stefanik trying to really keep some heat in those tires.
Mike Stefanik, 5-time National Modified Champion, also a 2-time NASCAR Busch North Series champion as well. Back a few weeks ago at the New Hampshire International Speedway, Mike Stefanik made the announcement that he would only run a limited schedule on the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series in 2003, but in 2003 he will be taking over the Burnham Boilers Chevrolet on the NASCAR Busch North Series. That's the car that Brad Layton has campaigned for quite a few years. So Mike Stefanik looking forward to getting back on the NASCAR Busch North Series, but also looking forward to running a limited schedule on the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series as well.
Jerry Marquis is also down at pit road once again. In addition to that, Frank Rocco with the number 14. And Tony Hirschman's car, it appears that it's being held by the NASCAR officials. So a penalty might be being issued due to that situation on the last restart when the number 48 car was stopped down the back straightaway here at Stafford. So they're paired off in rows of 2, heading towards Kyle Rickey off turn number 2.
Before the caution flag came out a little bit ago, it was Stefanik and Hossfeld battling for the top spot. They got together just a tad on the back straightaway, got Hossfeld out of shape, and sent the 4 car back to the 3rd position. Teddy also got around him to the outside lane. Could make for an interesting restart here with Hossfeld to restart just behind Mike Stefanik. Christopher to the outside of the front row. Pace car looks to head to the pit lane. We'll go green this time.
They are side by side into the apex between turns 3 and 4. Off the 4th turn, coming down looking for the start. Christopher gets a nice run in the outside lane. We're green and racing. And we've got leader number 3, car number 13 for TC Ted Christopher. There goes Todd Szegedy. He's going to the outside to take over second down at 3.
Outside lane gets the jump on the restart, and it's Ted Christopher to lead down into turn number 3 with Szegedy in the 2nd spot. Stefanik slides all the way back to 3rd.
Back down to the line, it's Ted Christopher that shows the way. Todd Szegedy there in the 2nd position. Then it is Mike Stefanik, Chuck Hossfeld, and now a battle for about the 7th position as Jamie Tomato now looks to the inside of the Kopech machine in 3.
Tomato down to the inside, Kopech up high. That's side-by-side racing for the 7th position off the corner and give the spot to the Jet off turn 4.
Ricky Fuller is also silently marching to the front of the field in this one. He has now found a home among the top 10 cars here. But Todd Szegedy, the Haynes Construction number 50, is now reeling in on the back bumper of Ted Christopher as they come off turn number 4.
Trouble into turn number 3. Rene Dupree gets out of shape, collects 4 other cars here in the corner. John Blewett III is involved. L.W. Miller gets collected, as does Donnie Leah. 4 cars come to rest against the outside guardrail in turn 3.
But on lap number 56, a caution comes out of the field. Donnie Leah is up there in a melee that was started by Rene Dupuis with the number 25 car. Blewett was also involved in the altercation, and L.W. Miller's bad luck continues here this afternoon. Joining us here at Broadcast Central is Matt Buckler. Matt?
Well, we see Ted Christopher well on his way now to the Stafford Slim, trying to be the first driver to win all 4 Featherlight Series races at Stafford. And he really looked impressive on the last restart, getting the jump on the outside. This time, however, the script will be a little bit different as he'll have to start to the inside of Todd Szegedy. And it didn't seem that long ago, Ben, at the Spring Sizzler, that's when Todd Szegedy really gave notice to the racing community that he was going to have an outstanding season, and he had adjusted to these Featherlight Modified Series cars, and he hasn't lost his momentum since.
He certainly hasn't. A look at the Diamond Vision screen shows that L.W. Miller was pulling away from that situation in the altercation there. The 77 car still trying to get back down, as the 25 was the culprit that caused all of that. Rene Dupuis right in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Kyle, can you tell us what you saw from your vantage point?
Looked like Rene Dupuis, running mid-pack at the time, had a little help at the entrance of turn number 3. As she went around, everybody else just kind of stacked in. And John Blewett III looks like suffered the most damage in car number 77. He has climbed out of his car. L.W. Miller has tried to pull away in the 73 car. That car remains idle right at the entrance of the pit lane. So 4 cars collected up here in turn number 3, but it looked like Rene Dupuis did have a little help.
It looks like Mike Stefanik is pulling to the inside. That's an indication that he is going to be perhaps coming down on pit road. The silver number 21 on the inside row as they come off turn number 2, heading down the back straightaway. Matt, it appeared that Stefanik has a car that runs strong once he gets a little heat in the tires. But on the initial restarts, that doesn't seem to be the case.
Especially as the last one, as it didn't take Ted Christopher very long to get by. Before this race, I asked Ted what his tire strategy was going to be, and he said about at the halfway point of the race, he'll make a judgment. Do I have a car that's good enough to win the race? If he feels that he does, he'll stay out there. If he doesn't think he does, he'll pit regardless of where he is on the racetrack at the time.
Well, there's one of many different ways of looking at the action here this afternoon. Let's check back in with Tony Sutton.
Well, down here at the other end of the pits from where I was just a moment ago, the 21 and the 79, the crews are poised on the wall, ready to go over tires and adjustment on the 21. And we do not know at this point in time, but the jack is on the wall. There's probably tires going to be going on the 79 as we wait for the pit road to open up.
A look at the number 77 cars. It's being slung and brought back to the center of the infield. Heavy damage done to the left front suspension as well as the right rear suspension on that race car. L.W. Miller's car also suffering some severe damage.
Shows you what a difference a year can make. Last year, John Blewett came to the final weekend of the year at the at the World Series of Asphalt Racing with a chance to win the championship, and his 2002 season never fully developed.
No, you're exactly right, Matt. And, you know, you look at the point standings, John Blewett comes into this event 9th in the point standings, so a tough break for the Mastro Batista contractors.
Here they come. Mike Stefanik leading the parade of cars down in pit road. Marquis is second. Then it's Tommy Curvino, Chris Kopech, Carl Pastriak, Frank Rocco, Vordemeyer, and Donnie Leah. All eyes are at the end of pit road. The defending series champion, Mike Stefanik, and the Spear Point number 21 crew.
Stefanik is in. The crew is over the wall. They've got tires for both the left and the right side. This looks like it's going to be a 3-tire change. A lot of debris on the left front tire, but that appears to be from coming down on pit road. They work on the right side. They get the right rear done. Now they go to the left side. The front's off. The jack is up in the air. The front is off. The back is off. The crew is replacing. They're putting fuel in the car. The tires that came off are coming back over the wall. The crew puts a hand up and Stefanik is away.
Well, down the back straightaway, 60 laps here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. In this, the CarQuest 150, leader of the event, car number 13 for TC Ted Christopher. Running in second, the Haynes Construction number 50 for Todd Zegedy. Third position, the RV Colton Vans, number 4 for Chuck Hossfeld. In the 4th spot, great run for Bo Gunning with car number 09. 5th position, Eddie Flemke, the number 79. 6th spot, Jamie Tomeno, car number 99. In the 7th spot, the number 8 of Ricky Fuller. 8th spot, Chris Jones. 9th spot, Joey Caraccia. And now into the top 10 is Tom Baldwin with car number 7, New York. Just out of the top 10 in 11th is Eric Beers with car number 36. Nevin George with the number 0. And the Budweiser number 10 of Robbie Summers. Behind him is Bob Povereri in the 71. David Bergman, the number 32, and Doug Colby, the 28. We go back down on pit road.
Well, Ben, you had mentioned earlier about it appeared that the 21 needed to keep the heat in the tires. That is the main point of conversation down here. They need to go long green laps in order to make the tires work as efficiently as possible. During these yellow flag laps, the tire temperature cools down and the handles go away on the cars, and it takes them several laps for heat to get back in there. And it is cooling down out here, and the surface of the racetrack also cooling down. It's going to have a change in the way the tires react, and it's going to have a change in the setup of the cars. I'll send it back upstairs.
Well, they head into turn number 3. Lights are off on the safety vehicle. It's going to pull down on pit road. Donnie Leah looks to rejoin in the competition, as Carl Pastriak has just done. Place your bets now as they come off turn number 4. Here's Matt Buckler with a call as we go back to green.
Well, Christopher got a dazzling restart the last time. This time it's a little tougher between him and Zegedy. Zegedy hanging tough on the outside. They're in handshaking distance as they head to turn 3.
The outside appears the place to be here this afternoon as Ted Christopher now edges Todd Zegedy out. Zegedy falls into line just ahead of Bo Gunning.
Back down to the stripe, it is Ted Christopher in command. Todd Zegedy there in the 2nd position. Then Bo Gunning having a strong run with car number 09. Then it's Chuck Hossfeld. Then it is Eddie Flemke.
Trouble down to that straightaway. One car goes spinning. It's Jamie Tomeno. Had a little help off of turn number 2. Single car incident.
Jamie Tomeno keeps running. We're still under green. Back to the line they come. It's still Ted Christopher, your leader. Todd Zegedy, Christopher, and Zegedy come up on Donnie Leah, a lapped automobile. Bo Gunning up to the 3rd spot. Hossfeld in 4th. Flemke in position number 5. And 6th is Ricky Fuller. 7th spot is Chris Jones. 8th spot is Tom Baldwin. 9th spot is Joey Caraccia. And Nevin George now runs among the top 10.
Ricky Fuller was one of those drivers, Ben, who said he was going to pit no matter what, even if it's to ask for directions. And right now he's headed in the right direction. So is Hossfeld, making a bold move on the bottom.
Off turn number 4, back down to the stripe. Chuck Hossfeld now takes the 3rd spot away from Bo Gunning. Also having a very strong run here this evening is Ed Flemke Jr. But further on back, other drivers trying to work their way up to the front. Robbie Summers, Nevin George, and Dave Bergman.
Off turn number 4, it's still Ted Christopher in command. He's got a mirror full of white, and that happens to be the Haynes Construction Company number 50. Todd Zegedy making a challenge for the lead. It doesn't pay off this time. Hossfeld keeps them in sights. Look at the battle going on for the 4th, 5th, and 6th spot down at turn 3.
Bo Gunning going to hold off Eddie Flemke for the position. Rick Fuller looks on. He has reeled them in over the course of the last few laps as he runs into 6th spot.
Now Flemke is shuffled down low, trying to buzzsaw his way underneath Gunning. Let's see if he has enough adrenaline to complete the move as they head into 3.
Gets around Gunning on the inside and will pull Rick Fuller with him. On the inside lane, Gunning goes back to the 6th spot off turn 4.
When they come back to the line, they're still single file and the battle raging there. Look a little further back in the field. David Bergman has come back to life, and Mike Stefanik is trying to find some room on the outside of this racetrack. The 21 is coming on like gangbusters down at turn 3.
Goes to the outside of Tony Hirschman to pick up a spot. Now goes to work on the 54 for Dave Etheridge.
Change for second spot has now occurred. Hossfeld moves back in the second. Christopher's got a mirror full of yellow. That's the little birdie hunting down the cat, and the top cat in this one is TC Ted Christopher off turn 4.
Back off turn number 4 and back to the stripe. 71 laps now go on the board, and it's Ted Christopher in command with the Mystique Motorsports number 13. And right there in second, Chuck Hossfeld. Then it's Todd Zegedy. Then ways back is Ed Flemke Jr. And Rick Fuller certainly has a very strong race car here this evening.
Well, Ted Christopher continues to be the drum major of the parade, and he said the Stafford Slam would be very significant to him because it proves to everyone that when he has a great car, he can win races. And right now, Hossfeld not making it easy for him, and Zegedy makes it a threesome as they head off turn 4.
Back down to the line they come, and Christopher still in command. Hossfeld still setting in second with Todd Zegedy in the 3rd spot. Take a look back further into the field, and you'll see that Mike Stefanik perhaps has gotten the wish that they were hoping for. Long periods of green. Stefanik is passing them right and left. He now sets his sights on Bergman as they come off turn number 4, Matt. That silver machine we nicknamed the Bullet is really coming on strong.
Well, you talk about hot tires. He has nuclear reactors for tires as he goes on the outside of Dave Bergman, trying to pick up the spot. And you know when Stefanik goes inside and outside to pass cars, he is at the top of his game.
He literally one time owned turn number 1 on the bottom of this racetrack. They named it the Mike Stefanik move to the bottom. Look at him reel in on the 39 car down at turn 3.
That's the battle for the 9th spot. Chris Jones holds him off for now. Stefanik turns right, goes to the outside, but can't get the momentum he wants. Falls back in the line.
Stefanik with a very, very strong race car as he works down into turn number 1. He finds himself among the top 10. But back up front, it is still Ted Christopher showing the way. Chuck Hossfeld in second, Zegedy there in third, Eddie Flemke is fourth, Rick Fuller is fifth, then it's Bo Gunning, and then Tommy Baldwin Jr., Robbie Summers, and Mike Stefanik.
Well, Tom Baldwin is running strong right there. Now Robbie Summers will tuck out of line with the Budweiser machine. Stefanik sets his sights on the Budweiser car in 3.
Goes to the outside of Robbie Summers. Summers down low, Stefanik up high, side by side, off 4.
And let's see if Stefanik has enough pizzazz on the outside. Almost effortlessly, Stefanik picks up another spot.
Mike Stefanik is best described in one word. It is flying. Car number 21 is the fastest car on the racetrack, going inside and out. He'll move underneath Tom Baldwin down at turn 1.
So now Mike Stefanik, it doesn't matter what end of the speedway he is in, he can dive the car down. Oh, trouble up in turn number 2. Bergman goes around. Everybody else tries to get away, but caution on the speedway. The 5th caution of the evening.
Well, it was a quick call for a yellow because everybody kept running in the proper direction there, but the caution did come out. We are 80 laps in this 150-lap event for the Featherlight Modified Series presented by CarQuest here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Car number 13, the Mystique Motorsports Jimmy Galante-owned race car prepared by Barry Cannell, is the leader. 80 laps in. Behind him is car number 4 for Chuck Hossfeld, the RV Colton Van Special. In the 3rd spot, the Haynes Construction number 50 for Todd Zegedy. 4th spot, the Ron Bouchard Auto Sales number 79 of Eddie Flemke. And 5th spot, the Guaranteed Certified Sales number 8 for Ricky Fuller. In the 6th spot, it is Bo Gunning, the TS Haulers number 09. 6th spot, guess who? Mike Stefanik moving in. 7th spot, the Budweiser Beer number 10 for Robbie Summers. 8th spot, Tommy Baldwin, car number 7, New York. 9th spot, the number 3 of Jerry Marquis. And in the 10th spot, the number 16 of Chris Kopak. Lap number 81 under caution here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Interestingly enough, the Hossfeld machine once had the lead, dropped back to the 4th spot, and then has worked his way back to the front. But the story in this event is the silver bullet number 21 for Mike Stefanik. New race car, started up front on the pole, led the early laps, challenged Hossfeld, then relinquished the lead, not without a fight, to Teddy Christopher. Christopher is a man with a mission here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. He's looking to make it a clean sweep, winning every one of the Featherlight Modified Series events of 2002. But Mike Stefanik also has an agenda. That agenda is to win in the very first outing with the new silver number 21. He told us earlier today, why would you keep your best piece at home? We felt this was the best race car, and we hope to show that here today.
Well, the green flag is out on pit road, so if Shakespeare was a race fan instead of a playwright, to pit or not to pit, and we'll see who comes in as the pit gate is now open.
It looks like TC Ted Christopher is coming down at pit road. Yes, he is. Ted Christopher, Eddie Flemke, Ricky Fuller, Tom Baldwin, Chris Jones, Nevin George, Bob Poverary, Eric Beers. They're heading towards Tony Sutton.
And they are. The boards are up on the wall. Fuller, Christopher, Nevin George, and the 4 board was up, but they pulled it back down. The cars are into their particular pits. Flemke in this time. The crews are over the wall. The 13 car receiving 3 tires. The right's already been changed. They're on the left on the front right now. They're waiting for the jack to come around as they finish up on the 8 car. The right sides have been changed. He's down. They're going to the left side now. Christopher's up on the right side. Up on the right side. The tires have already been pulled off and placed on. It's a question of who's going to get out first. Flemke makes it out first of this group. Fuller is down and away in the 8 car. The 13 still up on the jack. He stalls the car. They're going back underneath to make sure that the lug nuts are all on. There's a problem with the 13 car, and Christopher is livid as he sits in the cockpit.
And now he finally pulls away. I have a question for you. Do you think the fact that Stefanik has looked like a lightning bolt since he changed his tires might have persuaded the rest of the front runners they better go in and change their tires if they're going to keep up with Stefanik?
Well, Teddy Christopher has used all strategy to win victories here at the Stafford Motor Speedway this season in the Featherlight Modified Series. One event, he went from green to checker without a tire change. The last event, he decided to go in for a quick change of tires, came back out, worked his way to the front, and he accomplished that there then. So what's going to happen, no one knows, but everyone is well aware of the fact that Mike Stefanik was the fastest car on the racetrack during that last run. His crew chief, the very noted Art Berry, said that if he could get some long runs in under green, this car would be a bullet, a silver bullet. Let's go to Tony Sutton down at pit road.
Well, Ben, I told you that Chuck Hossfeld, the driver of the number 4 car, the board was up on the wall. He pulled next to the pace car, but the crew came over and told me, no, he didn't need tires. He was trying to save his Oakleys. He was trying to toss them into the pace car so he wouldn't lose them. He missed. He needs new sunglasses.
Well, if he wins here this afternoon, he'll have enough cash to buy not only sunglasses, but a case to put them in as well. As they come off turn number 4, we are on lap number 84 here at Jackaroot Stafford Motor Speedway. CarQuest is the sponsor of this, the Featherlight Modified Series 150. There's $75,000 in posted awards, and it is currently car number 4 in command. That's Chuck Hossfeld. He sets at the point of this one. Big victory took place for the Hossfeld team and Bob Garbarino at New Hampshire International Speedway. They installed a Ron Hutter engine in the race car using a restrictor plate. It was the fastest car there, had everybody in the paddock area talking, and today that story could be one of the same. Outside of him, Todd Zegedy, the Haynes Construction Company, number 50. And what about Bo Gunna? He won the title in the SK Modified here at Stafford. He's looking very strong here tonight. It would be nice to see him in victory lane, winning a Featherlight Modified Series event. But don't count out Mighty Mike Stefanik, the silver bullet. Art Berry's number 21. If you know Art Berry, he loves maroon race cars. But his very first race car was silver in color. That silver brought him luck then. Will it bring him luck now? Here we go. Back up through the gears. It looks like we're going back to green. Action continues here at the Stafford Motor Speedway as they head off turn 4.
Off turn number 4, the green flag is back up in the air, 86 laps. So on the board, and it's Chuck Hossfeld that gets out in front. Todd Szegedy there in second. Here's a battle now for third as they work down the back straightaway.
Bo gunning down to the inside of Mike Stefanik in the outside lane as the top two quickly single out. That's Hossfeld and Szegedy still stacked up 2 wide from third on back.
Well, of all the front runners, Stefanik has the freshest tires. Let's see if he can put those to use against Todd Szegedy as he makes a climb on the outside heading into 3.
Gunning gets a little bit out of shape, Kyle, as they head down to turn 3.
He gathers it back in, but loses about a dozen spots, tucks in the line behind Ted Christopher in the 19th position.
Look at Jerry Marquis. If our information is correct, Marquis is on the lead lap. Remember him earlier. He is in third, and Marquis is getting quick and racy. He runs like a jackrabbit down to turn 3.
Takes a third spot away from Todd Szegedy and now goes to work on Mike Stefanik, who looks to the outside of Hossfeld.
Mike Stefanik now tries to work the outside with the silver bullet as they work down on turn number 1 as he tries to get around Chuck Hossfeld. But Jerry Marquis is there in third, Szegedy in fourth, Kopech there in fifth, and it's Robbie Summers is right now. Here's another battle once again. Mike Stefanik trying to get around Chuck Hossfeld.
And it's not that easy as Hossfeld had the outside lane barricaded, so Stefanik swings it down low. Here comes a silver bullet like it's shot out of a cannon, not out of a gun.
As they head down to turn number 3, it is Stefanik who goes to the inside. Position number 1, held down by the silver bullet. Mighty Mike is back at the top of the field.
So Stefanik back to the top with car number 21, but not yet. Here's Chuck Hossfeld once again holding strong on the outside, but Mike Stefanik with a lot of horsepower. He'll pull him down the back straightaway.
Hossfeld sets in the line in the second spot, a car length behind Mike Stefanik, who leads the front group of 7 off turn 4.
Meanwhile, Teddy Christopher's moved back into the top 10 as Caraccia and Flemke come together. Meanwhile, Doug Colby will spin. Bob Povereri is there and around. But Ed Flemke literally got squeezed off turn number 4 as Joey Caraccia on the 34 and the 79 came together.
So a big problem for our point leader, Eddie Flemke Jr. coming in with the point lead. Problem on the front straightaway with car number 79.
And that car has come to a stop over at the entrance to the back straightaway, and believe he's going to need some assistance off the speedway for Eddie Flemke.
The Think Pink machine, as you look at the Diamond Vision screen, the front suspension on the left front wheel is literally sheared back on that race car. Eddie Flemke, who'd been doing his dress rehearsals in the SK Modifieds for the final 3 Friday night events here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, looking for that magical setup, and he was running very strong. But let's direct our attention to the car that runs in third. But before we do that, take a look at the replay. There's Caraccia's number 34 to the inside. Flemke in the outside lane. Caraccia comes out wide, and Flemke makes heavy contact with the cement retaining wall down the front straightaway. Does a nice job of gathering it back. What about Jerry Marquis? Sets in the third spot. Before we got to lap number 25, he was in and out of pit road, and his crew sent him back out saying, "You've got to stay on the lead lap." We believe that he is on the lead lap and currently is your third place car. Todd Szegedy sets in the fourth spot with car number 50. And currently in position number 5 is Chris Kopech with car number 16. Sixth spot looks like the Budweiser number 10. Good run for Robbie Summers. In the 7th spot, the 32 of David Bergman. 8th spot, TC Teddy Christopher. Unofficially in the 9th spot, Joey Caraccia, and 10th is the 99 of Jamie DeMeno. 11th spot, Fred Vordemeyer. 12th position, the number 8 of Ricky Fuller. Unofficially in 13th, Tom Baldwin. 14th, the number 12 of Corvino, and 15th, the 36 of Eric Beers. Let's go to Tony Sutton.
Well, Ed Flemke walked right past me with a look that, well, if looks could kill, I'd be mortally wounded, and he did not even stop at his car. He is heading down pit road, and I think he wants to have a discussion with someone. I cannot imagine who that might be.
Well, work continues down at pit road as it appears that the Bo Gunning machine is also down at pit road currently as we speak. Joey Caraccia's team, Flemke running over to the Caraccia number 34 and asking him what is the situation there. Doug Colby is down on pit road. And I've watched Eddie Flemke compete since he was a young man, and it was his very first time behind the wheel of a race car at the old Plainville Stadium. It takes a lot to get that guy mad.
Well, he didn't come over there to help him change tires, but, you know, we talked to him before the race, and he said because there was such gridlock in the standings, 7 guys in contention, what would be the difference down the stretch? And he said the cars and the drivers were so evenly matched, it would come down to who got the brakes at the end. And Flemke right there got a bad one, as that concrete off of turn 4 might have gobbled up his chances for the 2002 championship.
Well, that concrete does not move, and you just seen a perfect example or a test of that. Tony Ferrante is back down on pit road, but it's car number 21, your leader, crossing the stripe, 96 laps and counting here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll head back down on pit road.
Well, Flemke's car is damaged on the front on both sides. Obviously, he's got suspension and steering damage on the right side, and also steering and suspension damage on the left side. The crew has already got the car up on jack stands, and they were working on it. But Ed Flemke Jr. is in no mood to discuss anything right now, except maybe, possibly, what we do next week when we go to another racetrack with the 79 car.
Well, that crew is well aware of the fact that if you can get the car back out, you might be fortunate enough to gain a few more spots, and each and every spot means a few more points, Matt, and that's what this is all about. Eddie Flemke is looking for the title. His dad was one of the best known drivers ever to come out of the northeastern region of the country. He was referred to as Steady Eddie, the Eastern Bandit, and Eddie Jr. would like to have the honor of saying that he is the very best, and that means the championship title in the Featherlight Modified Series.
And it's been a dramatic upturn for Flemke. Last year at this time, he was just trying to get into the top 10. He said he was so far back he couldn't even see the leaders in the point standings. But it was at the banquet last year for the Featherlight Series when a member of his crew said, next year, that could be you instead of Mike Stefanik. So the crew started believing in each other. They got better. The car got better. The engine got better. And Flemke has been flirting with the top spot all season long.
Well, let's set the field for you. 97 laps and counting here at Jackaroot Stafford Motor Speedway. The overall distance is 150 laps. I'm Ben Dodge, along with Gary Danko and Matt Buckler from Broadcast Central. Kyle Rickey covering the action down in turn number 3 with Tony Sutton down at pit road. The leader is car number 21. There's been only 3 different leaders so far in this Featherlight Modified Series event. Chuck Hossfeld was the first, Mike Stefanik was the second, and Teddy Christopher was the third. Mike Stefanik went back to the front to take over the lead. Then it was car number 4 for Chuck Hossfeld to settle into second. Jerry Marquis came out of the parking lot, literally, to take over the third spot. Todd Zegedy has been there among the top 4 cars all afternoon and currently sets in the 4th spot with the Haynes Construction Company number 50. In the 5th spot, it is the number 16 of Chris Kopech. 6th spot is the number 10 for Robbie Summers. Now, here's an interesting story. Robbie Summers started the 2002 season out driving car number 14. He had some great runs in the early events of the season. Then suddenly that team just had a problem. It just didn't work anymore. And Robbie Summers went from literally one operation to another. But today's run shows that Summers is still a strong contender. This is a CD chassis car for him. Dan Avery is the crew chief who used to be the driver of car number 10. The car is owned by a gentleman by the name of Gary Tito, and it is sponsored by Budweiser, a national sponsor for him. So Robbie Summers turned this event into a success story for him. David Bergman is next, and Ted Christopher is waiting in the wings. If you think Ted Christopher is going to stay there back in the 7th spot, you're wrong. Christopher came here with a mission. He made a promise, and Christopher always keeps those promises. Today, he's looking to do that. He wants to be the winner of all events for the Featherlight Modified Series that have been held here at Jackaroot Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll tell you who he made that promise to if he is able to accomplish that. 98 and counting here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
And touching on that subject of the Robbie Summers machine, that is a brand new machine. And that is, you are right, that is a chassis dynamic race car. They debuted that car at the New Hampshire International Speedway back a few weeks ago. Getting back to the Ed Flemke Jr. situation, back at New Hampshire, he had a very, very strong run going, was running among the top 6. In the closing stages of the event, he would hit the outside retaining wall, he would finish, but he would finish back in 15th. Now he comes here to the Stafford Motor Speedway, having a very strong race car, and now he finds the wall with car number 79.
Well, by rights, he said that he shouldn't even be in the lead at this stage of the season because he had some bad luck in the last two races, one at Thompson and the one at New Hampshire. But he had more bad luck today. And one guy hanging around and flirting, Todd Szegedy. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, he has not changed for tires.
He has not, and he is running just as strong now, Matt, as he did early in this event. So Todd Szegedy, perhaps his strategy is to go the distance on the same set of tires, and it doesn't seem to be a problem for him so far. We just received some information from timing and scoring. The only cars that are not on the lead lap are the 5, the 18, the 25, and the 31. Everyone else that is currently on the racetrack now is on the lead lap.
What about the consistency of car number 16, Chris Kopech? Almost every race, he seems to be hanging around the top. Kind of a very quiet, underrated driver, but he's hanging out with the big boys again in 5th place.
He sure is. Lap number 100 just clicked off on the scoreboard. There were 50 laps left. Kind of a shootout in this one, and the leader still remains car number 21 for Mighty Mike Stefanik. Hossfeld still running in 2nd. Keep your eyes on Teddy Christopher. Kyle Rickey takes a look at him as they head for turn 3.
Pace car set to take cover onto the pit lane. It'll be a single file restart as we are within the final 50 laps of this event. Stefanik set to lead the field off of turn 4.
Let's see if Hossfeld can make a charge in 2nd as they barrel across the stripe. Stefanik, and almost hanging on like a Christmas tree ornament in 2nd place, it's Chuck Hossfeld.
Hossfeld looks to the inside off of turn number 2. Stefanik slides up wide, maintains the top spot. Hossfeld in 2nd, then it's Jerry Marquis, Todd Szegedy, and Chris Kopech, the top 5. Everybody remains single file.
Off turn number 4 and back down to the stripe. It's Mike Stefanik, Chuck Hossfeld, then it's Jerry Marquis and Todd Szegedy, your top 4 cars. The question is, does Chuck Hossfeld, does he have anything for Mike Stefanik? Your leaders in turn 3.
Took a peek to the inside off of turn number 2, but had to fall back in the line behind Stefanik, who's running a little higher line off the corner.
Here comes Teddy Christopher to the inside of Rob Summers. That's a good battle. He changes his strategy. Goes to the outside. Christopher can't get by. That's the battle for the 8th spot off turn 2.
Summers to hold them off on the back straightaway. Ted Christopher going to have to settle into the 9th position, just 1 spot ahead of the Jet Jamie Tomato as Nevin George gets a little out of shape. He'll gather it back in.
Well, Summers drifted high off the 4th turn, but Christopher cannot capitalize as he is having a difficult time getting around Summers. Remember, at the American Sleeve Bearing 150, Christopher just blasted his way through the field on fresh tires. It hasn't been so easy this time around.
Teddy Christopher now has made the transition down underneath Robbie Summers. Give position number 7 to car number 13. David Bergman becomes his next target as he closes up the gap down in turn 3.
Right now, 5 car lengths separate Dave Bergman in the 6th spot and Ted Christopher in the 7th position off the corner.
Mike Stefanik has 63 career wins on the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series. He'd like to make that 64 here this evening as he leads the field down into turn number 3.
Hossfeld has reeled him in into turn number 3. They are nose to tail off of turn number 4 between Stefanik and Hossfeld. 2 car lengths back is Jerry Marquis.
Teddy Christopher is still closing up that gap. It was 5 car lengths just a lap ago. It is less than 1. Hossfeld makes a bid for the lead down to turn 3.
Looks to the inside, and he was up alongside for a moment. Stefanik went into turn 3 a little harder, maintains the top spot.
Stefanik has had more Featherlight wins at Stafford Speedway than any other driver, 17, and we find out on that move why he's won so many as he just slammed the door shut in Hossfeld's face.
Does it again, this time by on the back straightaway as Stefanik continues to hold off Hossfeld in the 2nd spot. 3rd, and losing a little bit of ground is Jerry Marquis.
Further on back in the 7th position, Teddy Christopher trying to get around the Dave Bergman machine as they work down into turn number 1. Christopher down to the inside, can't make the move there as he works off turn 2.
Bergman to hold them off for now onto the back straightaway. Bergman, another one of those drivers having a consistently quiet run here tonight, as is Chris Kopech, just ahead of Bergman for the 5th spot.
Teddy Christopher reels both of those cars in. If he can get around one, he'll get the other. Ted Christopher changes his strategy, goes to the inside. Rene Dupuis down on the bottom side of the racetrack, right in the line of fire down in turn 3.
Everybody remains single file in the outside lane, getting around Rene Dupuis, who gets out of the way down low.
Well, it's Christopher thought of going down low, didn't have the firepower to pull off the move. And Stefanik, meanwhile, has opened up a 2-car safety valve as a 14 of Frank Rocco spins into the grass.
Rocco seems to get it fired back up. It doesn't look like we're going to green. Chris Jones heads down on pit road under green, and that's going to be a costly situation for him. Keep your eyes on Ted Christopher. Down underneath David Bergman, making a bid for it off turn 2.
Well, Dave Bergman has better bite in the outside lane, holds off Ted Christopher for the 7th spot. Christopher tucks back in the line, last car in the lead group.
Back down to the stripe, Mike Stefanik continues to show strength with the Lombardi inside and out Chevrolet. Then they're in second, it's Chuck Hossfeld. Further on back, it's Jerry Marquis. Then it's Todd Szegedy, Chris Kopek, Dave Bergman, and Ted Christopher, your top 7 machines. Mike Stefanik will work his machine off turn number 4 back to the stripe.
Well, he made up a lot of ground in a hurry as he closes in on Dave Bergman in the 32, but Bergman has done a masterful job holding off the 13 of Christopher. Remember, Bergman ran very well in the Spring Sizzler about 6 months ago, and he is maintaining that momentum today.
He sure is, Matt. He is right there on Chris Kopek's bumper. Todd Szegedy just in front of him. And Ted Christopher's planning his strategy of what move will give him the next 3 spots that'll put him closer to the front of this field. 115 laps and counting. The silver machine up front. The leader is Mike Stefanik.
Well, it looks like Christopher has hit a wall as he got up to 7th place, but that's as close as he has been able to come. And meanwhile, Mike Stefanik is doing what he does best, protecting a lead as he continues to have a sturdy advantage over Chuck Hossfeld. And Marquis is drifted out of contention momentarily, but we still have 33 laps to go.
Ted Christopher had a wheel down underneath David Bergman off turn 2.
Bergman holds him off one more time off the corner and down the back straightaway. That's a racing for the 6th spot. It's Bergman and Christopher, single file.
Mike Stefanik continues to lead down into turn number 1. Chuck Hossfeld continues to run in second. Then it is Jerry Marquis, Todd Szegedy, Chris Kopek. But Dave Bergman looks like he wants to take a shot at the Kopek machine in 3.
I think if Bergman's a little afraid if he gets out of line, Christopher will look to his inside and get the spot.
He should be afraid because Christopher is an aggressive driver. He's not going to hang back for any reason. Ted Christopher now sets his sights on Bergman again. Can't do it this time, down in 3.
Bergman once again looks to the outside of Chris Kopek and opens the door for Ted Christopher. Bergman there in time to shut the door off turn 4.
So Bergman is caught between a rock and a hard place with Kopek in front of him, Christopher behind him, and now he starts to open up some daylight between himself and the 13.
We'll see how Mike Stefanik negotiates slower traffic directly in front of him. The first car that he'll have to get around will be the Frank Rocco machine down in turn number 1. Stefanik definitely knows this racetrack, and he knows how to work traffic. Now he will bypass the Frank Rocco machine in turn 3.
Frank Rocco down to the inside. Stefanik goes by safely to the outside lane, as does Chuck Hossfeld. Only a car length separating the top 2.
Bergman has just moved to the outside of Chris Kopek. Here comes Teddy Christopher down into turn number 1. Bergman takes over the spot from Kopek. Christopher seems off the pace. He loses 2 car lengths here.
Got a little out of shape trying to get around Chris Kopek in the outside lane, and you're right, Ben, it costed him 3 car lengths down in turn 3.
Looks like there's some speed bumps in turn 2 that Christopher ran into as he drifted well off the pace. Now Hossfeld starting to close up against Stefanik again. You know, Mike Stefanik had not won a race until the Thompson 300 in September 9th, and a lot of people were wondering what happened, and he said the media made a bigger deal about it than he did. He knew it was just a matter of time before he got back on track. He's proving it today.
He sure is. At the front of the field, it's still Stefanik in command. Hossfeld still currently sets in second with Jerry Marquis in the 3rd spot. Hossfeld has got the power to reel him in. Now Christopher has come back up on the Chris Kopek machine, Matt. But there's heavy traffic and heavy opposition up ahead. Here comes Christopher. Bottom move off turn 2.
Looks to the inside, off the corners. We have a challenge for the lead and a new race leader in turn number 3. Chuck Hossfeld in the lap traffic bypasses Stefanik.
The Timex timely move of this event just took place when Hossfeld took over the lead. Here comes Stefanik. They're swamping him down at turn 2.
Carl Pastriak to the inside lane, just ahead of Stefanik. Will have to fall back in the line. Hossfeld continues to hold the top spot and bring in Jerry Marquis has the third party off turn 4.
So Jerry Marquis sits there in the third position. Right in front of him, it is Mike Stefanik, but new leader Chuck Hossfeld, certainly with a strong race car as well, as he'll lead the pack off turn 2.
Lap traffic makes the difference for Chuck Hossfeld, and now he'll pull away by about a car length and a half here in turn number 3 with Stefanik in second, Marquis in third.
Dave Bergman making a move on the outside of Todd Szegedy. Cannot polish off the move as Szegedy hangs on, and here comes Stefanik bouncing back. Stefanik with the answer.
Got a good run on the inside off of turn number 2 for Mike Stefanik, and he'll reclaim the top spot, and will try and pull Jerry Marquis with him on the inside.
Jerry Marquis goes to the bottom. He'll challenge for second. It doesn't happen here. Back to the front, it's Stefanik in command. Hossfeld in second. Bergman has now just moved in to contend in the 4th spot with Todd Szegedy back in position number 5. 6th spot is currently Kopech. 7th spot is Teddy Christopher. 8th position is Jamie DeMano. 9th spot is Ricky Fuller. And rounding out the top 10, we believe, is the 7 of Tom Baldwin.
Here comes Jerry Marquis now coming off turn number 2, trying to get around the Chuck Hossfeld machine. He's been glued to the back bumper of car number 4, but just can't find a way around the Hossfeld machine. Let's set the stage for you. It's Mike Stefanik leading the event. Then it is Chuck Hossfeld, Jerry Marquis, and also in that mix as well, it is Dave Bergman.
Bergman is moving into the top 3 contenders. They are in sights now. Todd Szegedy setting back in the 5th spot. 6th is Kopech, 7th is Christopher as they work their way back to the line. We're on lap number 133.
Well, Jerry Marquis has to be a bit cautious. Remember, he is going for the championship, and with Flemke out of contention, he is a sure bet to take over the point lead if he can hang on here, so he doesn't want to get too out of control and trying to make the move on Hossfeld.
Off turn number 2, it continues to be Mike Stefanik in command. Chuck Hossfeld right there as well. And Ben, you have to wonder if Jerry Marquis, he's doing everything he possibly can to get around that Hossfeld entry.
Jerry Marquis is a racer and he runs to win. He is thinking of just that. Setting in the number 3 car, challenging for second. Hossfeld to the bottom. Here comes Marquis. Different strategy this time, Matt, as he comes off turn 4.
Let's see if he has enough room to squeeze by Hossfeld. He almost squeezed into the wall.
Marquis holds on by a thread, and guess who moves into the 3rd spot? David Bergman. Marquis back to the 4th spot. Szegedy still holding on for 5.
Off turn number 4, back to the stride. Mike Stefanik in command. Hossfeld there in second. Now Bergman is in 3rd. Further on back, the 2000 champion Jerry Marquis as they work off turn number 2.
Single file down the back straightaway. Stefanik has 2 car lengths over Chuck Hossfeld. Then it's another 5 car lengths back to 3rd place Dave Bergman. And 2 car lengths behind Bergman is 4th place Jerry Marquis.
Jerry Marquis found the toughest way around turn number 1. It was up in the marbles and the loose stuff. What a masterful job Matty did of holding on.
Well, Ben, I think you said it best. Jerry Marquis was in 3rd. A lot of people have said he's looking at the big picture, the championship. He should protect that spot. But he's a racer, and he only had one thing to do, and that's challenge Hossfeld, and this time it came back to bite him.
It sure did. We're on the 138th circuit. The leader is Mike Stefanik. Hossfeld running in 2nd. David Bergman sets in the 3rd spot. He's moving in. Marquis is 4th. 5th is Todd Szegedy. 6th spot is Teddy Christopher. He takes over the spot. Kopech back there with Jamie DeMano and Ricky Fuller. Ted Christopher realizes there is less than 10 laps to go when they come back to the line.
Here comes Mike Stefanik. He will cross the stripe. 140 laps now go on the board. Now, here comes Bergman now, trying to challenge for second. Off turn number 2, gives second position to the Bergman machine.
Bergman may be the quickest car on the Speedway and now begins to reel in Mike Stefanik for the top spot. And Jerry Marquis now goes to work on Hossfeld for 3rd.
Remember what happened earlier. Now we've got a yellow caution flag comes out on the field for Nevin George. We believe it's the 0 car that is smoking heavily, perhaps leaking something on the inside of the racetrack. We are on lap number 141. The leader is car number 21 for Mike Stefanik. Second, an unbelievable run for David Bergman. he has come literally out of the back of the pack to contend in the runner-up spot. Hossfeld setting back in the 3rd spot, and Jerry Marquis sets in position number 4. 5th position is Todd Szegedy, the number 50. 6th spot, the 13 of Teddy Christopher. 7th spot, the 16 of Chris Kopech. 8th spot, the 99 of Jamie DeMano. 9th spot is Ricky Fuller. 10th spot is the 7 New York of Tom Baldwin. And unofficially in the 11th spot, the 36 of Eric Beers, followed by the number 12 car and the 71 of Bob Pulvereri.
A little bit of a strategy to throw at you. Remember, on Stefanik's first set of tires, he had very difficulty getting up to speed at the start of a green flag run. On cold tires, he did not move very quickly. It took 3 or 4 laps for those tires to heat up. Well, that worked to Dave Bergman's advantage in this late restart. Bergman has shown he is very capable of passing people on the outside.
Well, David Bergman's already taken down a couple of victories this season in the Featherlight Modified Series, one of them coming at the Waterford Speed Bowl. He'd like to win here today, and he is very deserving of that. Right there behind Mike Stefanik. The story on that is this. David Bergman, one of his teachers that helped him, is the man that sets in front of him, and that is Mike Stefanik. The Bergman family, the Bugsy Stevens, his dad, drove for the Casella Group for many a season and many a championship. Literally, David Bergman grew up with Julie Casella, the wife of Mike Stefanik, who is now Julie Stefanik.
And when Dave Bergman won his first Featherlight feature of his career early this year at Waterford Speed Bowl, the first person to congratulate him was Mike Stefanik.
It sure was, but this race isn't over with yet. Hold on, because we've got 7 laps of flat-out excitement left in this one. Kyle, Ricky, give us your thoughts.
It's going to be a great final few laps between Mike Stefanik, 5-time champion, Dave Bergman, only a 2-time winner in this division. Chuck Hossfeld, never count him out. He got his first win a couple of weeks ago at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Jerry Marquis knows how to get the victory lane here at Stafford. And Todd Szegedy has been a sleeper all year. His goal this season, just to finish in the top 10 in points and get the Rookie of the Year. He's got the rookie deal wrapped up pretty much. And he is also in a fight for the championship. So a great season for the driver of car number 50. Watch for him in the final few circuits.
You know, you have to wonder what's going through the mind of Jerry Marquis, crew chief over there, because as we pointed earlier, Jerry Marquis comes to race and to win, just like Teddy Christopher does. But after that experience down in turn number 1, you wonder if his crew chief is telling him, just ride it out now. There is less than 6 laps remaining in this event. Think of the title, not the victory.
I don't know, he might be just looking at the scoreboard. We'll see what Tony has to say on pit road.
Well, I can tell you there's a lot of anxious people down here at this end of the pits. 79, Ed Flemke, the entire front suspension, the entire steering system other than the rack changed on the number 79. He's back out on the racetrack.
You know, you have to give credit where credit is due. That team just kept digging to try to get that race car back out. There was less than 6 circuits remaining in this event.
And it might come down to a question of whose tires will heat up the quickest. Will it be Stefanik? Will it be Bergman? Hossfeld is still in the picture, and this could be a photo finish here. Jerry Marquis, how rambunctious is he going to be after that close call? But he's had some of his greatest moments in his career at Stafford Speedway. Won the final 300-lap race ever held here, and he is in contention to win the fall final.
He sure is.
145 laps are on the board. It is Mike Stefanik leading the event. Then it is Dave Bergman with car number 32. Then it is the number 4 machine for Chuck Hossfeld. Then car number 3 for Jerry Marquis.
So work still continues to the inside of the racetrack. As speedy drives being spread to the bottom before we're set to go back to green flag competition. So 145 when they come back to the stripe. 146 will click off. It'll be a single file restart.
Well, we've had some great passes on single file restarts in the past. Remember one year when Tommy Baldwin snookered the field on a restart and went by Reggie Ruggiero to win the fall final? So it's happened before. Just the fact that it isn't a double file restart doesn't mean the fireworks can't happen.
That is so true, Matt, as car number 21 in command. Nice way to christen a brand new race car to visit victory lane on its first outings with the number 21 car. David Bergman setting in second, the Emanuela Excavating number 32, turning in such a great run here this afternoon. And Chuck Hossfeld, what a great season he's had behind the wheel of Bob Garbarino's Mystic River Marina. Colton's RV Special, Jerry Marquis in the 4th spot, Todd Zegedy, we talked about him, and Teddy Christopher. He isn't to be counted out yet. Work still continues on the racing surface.
Well, we told you Mike Stefanik has 63 career wins on the NASCAR Federal Modified Series. He's hoping to change that here this evening and make it 64. His first win ever on the NASCAR Federal Modified Series came back on July the 9th of 1986. And, of course, his last win on the Modified Tour came back a few weeks ago at the Thompson International Speedway, where he won the 300-lap main event.
Bob Slade on the starter's stand receiving the word from NASCAR Central. It appears that they will be attempting to go back to green in one circuit. We are on lap number 146. Now 147 clicks off. They've just crossed the line.
Well, we saw Stefanik swerving around, trying to put some warmth into those tires. As that's a pivotal point of the race right now. Whose tires will come to life first? Will it be Stefanik or Bergman? And that's what makes it so interesting. Another nail biter at the fall final.
It sure is. They're single file as they head down towards turn number 3. Lights are off on the safety vehicle, Kyle. It looks like we're about to go back to green flag racing.
And bring Ted Christopher back into the picture in car number 17. He will now be amongst the leaders, restarting in the 6th spot, but with only a couple of laps to run. How many positions will Christopher be able to grab, if any? Set to go green. Pace car pulls onto the pit lane.
Down into turn number 3 and off the 4th turn. Here comes car number 21. Their nose to tail, chrome horn to back bumper as they come off turn number 4. Stefanik leads them back down to the line.
Bergman taking off on the outside, looking for some bite, is unable to complete the move.
Looks to the inside now onto the back straightaway, but tucks back in the line behind Stefanik. Bergman in second, now goes to the outside lane. Here comes Hossfeld to the inside of Bergman, racing for second.
Now Bergman will drop down low, try to work to the inside as the white flag is in the air this time by as they work down into turn number 1. Mike Stefanik with car number 21. He'll show the way. Bergman's right there in second.
Bergman looks to the inside, final time into turn number 3. Stefanik holds him off, final time off turn 4.
Here comes Stefanik, trying for the win. Bergman right behind him. Mike Stefanik takes down the win. Bergman, Hossfeld 3rd, Marquis 4th. What a 3-lap shootout, and the man who's prevailed 63 times does it again.
Then pandemonium down here. Art Berry, congratulations. What a great finish, man.
Hey, thank you. Mike done an awful job, and the crew did an excellent job. And for a brand new car, we're tickled pink.
There you go. Art Berry, the owner of the car. We're going to head down to victory lane. I'll tell you what, this is one happy crew.
Unbelievable. There is victory congratulations going on everywhere as car number 21, Mighty Mike Stefanik, takes the new generation of Spear Point race cars into the winner's circle. The previous generation, David Bergman's number 32, would finish in the runner-up spot. An unbelievable run for David Bergman. And Chuck Hossfeld, another great podium finish to finish in position number 3 with car number 4. Jerry Marquis kept digging all afternoon to finish among the top 4. We'll give you more of the finish right after this. But right now our attention is shifting to CarQuest Victory Lane. And it was a great afternoon of competition for those of you that are leaving the Stafford Motor Speedway on behalf of Jack Arute and his entire family. We hope you've enjoyed the presentation of the CarQuest Fall Final. And we'll look forward to joining us for the greatest race in the history of spring, the Spring Sizzler in the spring of 2003, right here at Jack Arute Stafford Motor Speedway. So pandemonium has set in the Spear Point pit area. They've now moved to the CarQuest Victory Lane, where Tony Sutton is down there to talk with the man that finished in position number 3. Tony?
My fingers are worn out. I couldn't get the mic turned on. Chuck Hossfeld taking his helmet off. The safety gear takes a couple of seconds to get everything taken off here. Obviously, because of all the restraints to keep on the driver, but Chuck moving very slowly to make sure he gets everything off correctly. We'll give him a little Village Spring water here to replace the moisture that he's lost. Well, Chuck, a great run, I'll tell you that. I know you'd like to have been a little bit further up, but man, you drove the wheels off this race car.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we didn't pit, and we ran on the same tires, and I got the lead there at the end, and I was hoping that we could hold those guys off, but you know what, they're hard chargers, and this is a tough series, really competitive, and we finished third today. We'll take it. Always want those wins, but I'll tell you, the whole crew does a great job. They work hard. Greg Schroeder, my crew chief, also Bob from Troyers, helps us out, but the Garbarinos are great to drive for, and you see how fast this car is. It's a real blast.
Well, they're also taking up a collection to replace the sunglasses.
Yeah, you know, that cost me probably $100. I tried to throw them to the pace car driver, and he had his hands out, but the problem is the wind was too much, and probably about 30 or 40 cars ran over him after that, so I'm out of luck with the sunglasses.
Well, congratulations on third place.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Well, moving to the second place finisher, Dave Bergman with a great drive. Dave, congratulations on a terrific drive.
Thank you. Thank you. We really didn't
A little understated.
We really didn't need that last caution. We had a real good car on long runs, but that's the way it worked out.
Yeah, I know it. The car was really, really hooked up, and it seemed to come on probably 15 or 20 laps into the run. The car just seemed to be on rails out there. It really changed a lot when the tires cooled down.
Yeah, I tried to keep the tires as hot as I could on the caution, but I guess I couldn't keep them hot enough. I tried to make a run on them on the last lap on the outside there, but we fell a little short.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a great drive. It was a lot of fun to watch. It must have been a lot of fun from your perspective. I know you would have liked to have got around that guy, but feel congratulated that you finished in second spot. A great drive.
Yeah, if you're going to finish second here, I would say Mike's the guy to finish second, too, because he's been around here a few times. He taught me a lot here.
Well, obviously, you learned your lessons well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dave Bergman finishing in second spot as we move over. Photos are being taken, the milk's being drunk. And Mighty Mike well, I'll tell you what, Mike, it was what a way to debut a new car. We talked earlier about not having any notes on this car, but I'll bet you the notebook is full now.
Yeah, it was great. I got to thank CarQuest for their support of this race. Yeah, what a way to debut a new car. It was hairy because we only ran about 25 laps in practice, but the car just shows me so much potential. Looking forward to running it more.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing that was really neat to watch is it didn't matter where you were on the racetrack after about 8 or 10 laps. You could put this thing anywhere, and it just stuck like it was glued.
I know. I couldn't get going on restarts. The tires, the first set was really slippery, and I asked Teddy Christopher if I was getting a flack because I couldn't understand why the car just wouldn't go. But once the air come up in the tires and the tires got some temperature, you drive outside, inside. I mean, yeah, it was fun. Like days of old.
Well, days of old, man. You put on a lesson for a lot of guys behind you, especially Bergman. He said, if I'm going to finish second, I might as well finish second to that guy because he taught me more than he probably forgot more than I learned.
Yeah, he was coming strong. I had my hands full at him. Fortunately, I only had 3 laps to hold him off. He was tough. He definitely had the better piece there at the end, but we had track position on him.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to let you celebrate with your crew. Congratulations on a great win. Man, a new car, a win for Art Berry, and it's even a different color. What a great way to end the evening.
Yeah, they're saying I'm getting gray, so they painted it gray, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
Mighty Mike Stefanik, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Modified Series 150, the fall final here at Jackaroo Stafford Motor Speedway, and a happy crew and a happy bunch of folks down here. We'll throw it back upstairs for the closing comments.
Right you are, Tony Sutton, and thank you for a fine job all afternoon on pit road. It was quite an afternoon of competition. We hope you've enjoyed each and every minute of it here at Jackaroo Stafford Motor Speedway. 2003 will be rolling.